Hello guys, this is Mr. Alotmo, your senior Udaku reporter. And of course, Alotmo is coming. I am coming to you live from the other side of town. Mali ambao wadosi wanaishi. Si tumetoka ile pande nyingine. Unaona ukifika pale Pangani. There is a mali barabara inaachana, matajiri wanapita hivi na maskini wanapita hivi. So mimi nimepita side ya matajiri leo mtu wangu. Today I'm having the general manager Faras Cab. Tukua tukipiga story naye na mke wake pia tujue mambo iko namna gani because they are victims of a disease called thyroid. One day nilipata chance kukutana na mdosi tukakaa chini. I don't know where the conversation came from. Kaniambia there is a disease killing people, killing millions of people. And unfortunately, someone died yesterday. May the soul rest in peace. He runs a channel by the name Health Talk Desk, ambapo wanaelezea watu kuhusu mambo ya thyroid. Introduction imekuwa mrefu.
Iko sawa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mko salama?
Kabisa, tunashukuru.
Thank you so much first of all for having me.
Karibu.
I'm really humbled. Tumepewa mpaka kinywaji bana. Tusikie vizuri.
Koho.
Ya ku soft mikono. I'm really humbled to be here. Not to bless kufanya hii interview. Tumeipanga interview kutoka last year.
Mazi. Mpaka we had to do it.
Yes. Today is the day at least leo ndio leo Mungu amepanga. Yes, let's start by you guys introducing yourself. Watu wajue.
Asante. Asante Kioko kwa hosting us. Thank you very much Kioko for hosting us. We are humbled to have you in our home. This is our small home. Na karibu.
Asante.
To Kenyans, we are great to have Kioko host us and to educate you out there and to give you more insight about thyroid conditions. The disease is not called thyroid. It's called thyroid is a gland, but it gets affected by so many other diseases that affect other parts of the body. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So my name is Allan. As Kioko said, I'm the general manager at Faras Cabs. I run a YouTube channel called Health Talk Desk where we discuss about your thyroid health. And next to me, ni mpoa wangu. Permanent. Oh, kuna permanent na kuna mpoa.
Na pia kuna verified.
Sasa huyu ni verified ama ni permanent ama ni mpoa? Permanent. Okay.
Kwa mpoa anaweza kuwa ni wa muda. So permanent. Forever.
Na verified.
Verified ni tutajua.
So huyu ni permanent wangu. So introduce yourself and then we go to Kioko.
Hi everyone, thank you Kioko for hosting us. My name is Lydiah. I'm here as a support system. I've been his caregiver for a while. When he was diagnosed with hyperthyroid. And we started the journey in 2019 and we're still on. We are here to educate Kenyans on thyroid majorly and to create awareness so that people don't die with a disease that they don't know what they are suffering from. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Perfect. I think we can now dive into the conversation.
Yes.
When someone is wondering, what is this thyroid thing we're talking about? Allan.
Well, thyroid is a gland. It's a butterfly-shaped organ that is usually on your neck. Just below the vocal, what do you call this? The matunda, katunda ile Adam alimeza. Handam zepo. Yes, handam zepo. Just below handam zepo, on top of your throat. It's butterfly-shaped. It has two sides, the right side and the left side. So its work is to produce and regulate your body hormones. Basically, your body operates through hormones.
It is the only organ that...
Yes. Well, it works with the other organs, but it's the main organ. It works with organs like pancreas. It works with organ like pituitary gland. It works with the brain. You know, so it's the main, but sends signal to other organs of the body. So its work is to produce and distribute. Now, when your thyroid is not producing hormones well, equal amount. It can produce less, could produce more. When it produces more, you suffer from a disease called hyperthyroidism, which I was suffering from. If your organ is producing less, if your thyroid is producing less hormones, you suffer from hypothyroidism. Now, your thyroid can also suffer from other diseases like goiter or thyroid cancer.
The thyroid itself.
Yes.
The thyroid itself. What people call goiter, it's a swollen thyroid. It's what people call goiter. And if it's not treated, it can develop into a thyroid cancer, which can go up to lungs cancer. Yes. So for me, my story started in sometimes 2019, all the way up to now. I would say up to now. But part of 2019 and 2020
and 2023.
and 2023, most of 2019 and 2020, I was in and out of hospital. I could not stay for 2 weeks without going to the hospital. And every time I go to the hospital, there was only one story, that you're suffering from a blood infection. Sometimes I could be told I'm suffering from H. pylori, Borrelia. I was treated of so many other diseases until it got to a point where I got confused, because every time I go to the hospital, naambiwa, you have infection. And then I kept wondering, hii infection yenye iishi. After every 2 weeks, I'm back to the hospital. Every 2 weeks, I'm back to the hospital. What is this infection? Why is it not curing? It didn't click to me that I could be suffering from something else. So until now, 2021, when I got to some point...
It was in 2020 in December.
2020 in December, yes, right. 2020 in December, I got to some point I said, no, this one is now becoming too much. Because at that time, I was exhibiting all symptoms of hyperthyroidism. And some of these symptoms were, number one, what was very, very prominent in me was losing weight.
A bloating of stomach.
Kioko, I was 80-something, 290-something kgs. But I reduced up to 67, 64, thereabout. So you can see that difference. So even when I got to meet my friends, they could ask me, hey, boss, unaenda gym, mama, what's the problem? Because you see, and it made me actually feel very bad, because I don't know what is happening with me. I'm losing weight. The other thing was bloating of stomach. Every time my stomach and gas, kila time. Mpaka nikaambiwa niko na gastritis. It's called gastritis. You know?
Yeah.
Daktari akasema hivi.
Yes, because every time tumbo yangu ilikuwa na gas. Whether nimekula ama sijakula. But that I'm losing weight, Kioko, but nakula like 4 to 5 times in one day.
Na lose weight.
Yes.
Na lose weight. But my intake of food was crazy. In fact, my colleagues in the office kept asking me, hey boss, si unakula sana. Shida ni? Because before I leave, she could prepare breakfast for me. I leave to work. Nikifika kwa ofisi, niko njaa already. So I look for food, eat. Nimebeba food.
Lunch.
Nimebeba lunch. Ikifika saa 4, nikiletewa chai, naitisha mpaka mkate. Na kangumu. Nakula. Ikifika saa 6 lunch. Saa 8, bro nilikuwa nakula. Na bado na lose weight. So, it's also one of the symptoms. Frequent eating and going to the toilet. Because you see, your body is hyped. So digestion is happening very fast because your hormones is producing much hormones as supposed to. Your organ is producing much hormones as supposed to. So at that time now, everything in your body is in hyped mood. It's in overdrive. Hyper. So that's why it's called hyper. So I was suffering from hyperthyroidism. Now, the other thing was I was very sensitive to heat. Sikuwa navaa fulana. Hata kuna yani watu kukinyesha kumefreeze mwezi wa 6, mimi na sweat. Asubuhi nikiamuka mahali nimelala kwa bed.
You can
Ukichukua hiyo nini ufinya hivi inatoka maji.
Hata before he says that, we used to change our beddings. You can change twice in a night.
Yes.
He's sweating. The heart is the palpitation. Even if you put the hand up, it looks like someone who has come from a race, and you're sleeping. So that sweating, palpitations, that's some of the symptoms that you don't understand. At that point, you're wondering, am I suffering from a heart disease? And you see, the more the heart is pumping blood, because the signals that are being sent to the pituitary gland, because the thyroid it's producing more hormone. It's like you sitting, and the body start reacting like you're from a race. And then you can imagine now you're supposed to sleep.
You can't even sleep.
Yeah,
you can't
couldn't even sleep.
Yeah. So my eyes started now gouging out. My eyes were coming out. But the heart palpitations, my heart was always rushing, on a race. You cannot sleep. You, at night, when you get a chance to sleep, you're dreaming crazy dreams until you wake up unaketi chini kwa kitanda.
Hallucinations.
The hallucinations. You hallucinate like, I don't know, crazy, So she could actually, every time she found me seated at night, alikuwa na amuka naye pia na keti. So you see, even for her, it was very difficult, even to deal with me, because it also causes mood swing. You get very irritated by small things. Sometimes she could tell me something in a very polite tone, I burst. Okay? Then after 5 minutes, now when I'm back in my senses, I'm like, sasa nimeambiwa mtoto wenyewe nini? Kwa nini nime? So I just go lock myself in the bedroom, I cry, we don't want, the culture of men, we don't want to be seen crying in public. Then I come back like nothing has happened. My kids wants to play with me, but I'm ever tired. Ever tired. Whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, whether it's at night, I'm ever tired. So these symptoms were all over me.
At that time, you know nothing.
I still don't know what is happening with me.
And actually, the other thing that he had tremors. You see, the way you're sitting down, one of the legs could just start shaking.
Yes. I'm sitting like this, the way we are shaking, and then the legs start shaking. So the whole body starts vibrating and feeling tingling effect on my fingers, the hand of the fingers. So every time, my body was thrown into a spin. So I am sick, I'm feeling I'm sick, I'm feeling everything is not okay with me. But when I go to the hospital, nobody is telling me what is happening. Okay, I'm getting blood infection, I'm getting... there's a time I was even told I have high blood pressure. My eyes, I lost sight. I could not see. So I started seeing blood images. So I went to an optician in town, Nairobi. So when they checked, they asked me to read. I could not read. So they checked my blood pressure. It was very high. So they told me, no, your eyes don't have a problem. It's your blood pressure. So that's why you're seeing blood images. So just relax, wait for your blood pressure to calm down, and then, little did I know I didn't have blood pressure issues. All these things were being caused by the thyroid. So at that time now, my body was all over. Symptoms were all over. So it got to a point, nearly give up. Because now, nimechoka kwenda hospitali. Nobody is telling me what is the problem. I remember even my mom at some point aliniuliza, na hii every time nakupigia simu unaniambia uko hospitali, are you sure you're okay? I told her, yes, I'm okay. But then of course, I know I'm not okay, but I have nothing to explain. So one day I just woke up, and planned for a holiday, to go for holiday as a family. And I woke up, it was on around 20, what? It was December.
Actually, we had planned before that we were going for an holiday. But that December, I think it was in November. That November, there's a time, it reached a point, akaniambia, I've taken a no for 2 weeks so that I can rest because I'm feeling tired.
Because I thought it was fatigue.
Yes, the surprising part, I leave him at home, I go to work. In the evening I come, nampata amelala, namuuliza, why are you still asleep? Did you go outside? I still feel tired. For all those 2 weeks, he stayed at home sleeping because when he went to the hospital, he was told it's a viral infection. Because he had a running stomach. And those running stomachs were very frequent, like in a month, like twice. And then even before we come into that November, I can take you back. There's a time we went even for cancer
screening
because of the pain that he was feeling without a prostate cancer.
By the way, it's important to say this for men who are watching. You know, this disease is mostly associated with women. But we have a good percentage of men who also suffer from this disease, like myself. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll also see I've interviewed other men who have suffered from the same disease and they gave their stories. So for men, it causes, like my testes were very painful sometimes. You feel the pain from one testis inapanda mpaka unaisikia huku. Uchungu just. So I thought, could I be suffering from even prostate cancer? Let me go and get checked. So I went and got checked for so many other diseases, okay, which were not the cause. The reason actually why I took 2 weeks to rest is because I went to the hospital and the doctor told me, I think you're fatigued. I think you're overworking. Just take some days off, go and rest. You'll be okay. That's the reason why I took off. So towards the end of that now off, we were supposed, okay.
Kidogo tu nikukate. At this time, umeenda kama hospitali ngapi?
I used to go to one hospital, one hospital specific hospital, but frequent times.
Same doctor?
But
different doctors.
But even we tried several hospitals. You remember in town we went to 3 other hospitals.
That was before now the visits became very frequent.
Yeah.
You know, I had tried like 3-4 hospitals. So when now they became very frequent and every hospital they are telling me of the same thing, infection, I thought there's no point of me hoping hospitals. Let me just stick to one hospital. So I used to go to one hospital, but initially I had gone to several. And by the way, it is the same hospital which finally now discovered my condition.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the same office, but after me visiting so many other times. So we were supposed to go for holiday in 2020. December.
Yeah.
And everything was ready. We had paid for the air ticket, we had paid for the hotel, we had everything. So 2 days before we went for the holiday, I told her, now, from the way I'm feeling, I can't go anywhere. You just go with the kids, let me be left behind. Niachwe nipumuzike vizuri, because I was still feeling I'm not okay. And remember, the headaches are not, si ati naumwa na kichwa sana ama naumwa na tumbo sana vile siwezi enda. So I could still go do a few things, but the symptoms could not let me live as a normal person. We finally now, when I told them to go for holiday and I would be left behind, she refused. She told me, no, if you're not going, we are not going. So let's cancel everything. So we cancelled.
Actually, even we didn't go shags.
We didn't even go for Christmas.
We just stayed in Nairobi. We didn't go for Christmas. We just stayed in Nairobi.
The whole Christmas.
Because he was sick. And
I slept the whole day. Actually, that's 25th of that year. I slept the whole day. Okay? So, on 26th, I told her now, I think I'm not ready to go to any other hospital because I'm tired of going to see doctors and the same story is one. I'm getting worse every day. I'm getting worse. My leg became black. I don't know if you look at, I have a socks. See these socks? So my leg became black somewhere here.
Actually, from the ankle.
From the ankle, it was black like these socks you're seeing. So I went to the doctor. We thought it was edema, and I got treated. It is still not going away. But now, after my treatment and I went through a surgery, my leg now started coming back, and that's why I'm wearing these socks. So I'll give you the story when we get there. But when we cancelled the holiday, and I told her I'm not going to see another doctor because I think I'm not getting help from them. So nimeachia Mungu. Whatever happens, happens. So I told her, mimi sina ndani na Mungu, sina ndani na mtu yote. If I sleep, don't wake up. Logbook ya gari iko mahali fulani, title iko mahali fulani. kitu fulani iko hapo, insurance ya watoto nimekata. As in, I was ready for anything now. Because I could see the way I'm progressing, it's sio hivi, naenda narudi nyuma. So I lost hope and I said, what happens, happens. Of course, as a woman, she felt disturbed. And of course, she tried to do as much as she could to convince me to go to the hospital. So I refused. So she called my mom, she called my brother, she called my father-in-law, she called my mother-in-law, she called everybody who could call me and convince me to go to the hospital. So masimu zikaanza. Nilipigiwa simu. Na everybody was now calling me. Shina ni nini? Uko sawa? You tell them, yeah, niko sawa. No, hauko sawa. So my brother came. Told me, no, tuende hospitali. I'm not. So I got so much pressure until I said, okay, fine. Ndio nimfurahishe, wacha niende.
Actually, what I used to do, and I go to work because it took some off. That December, actually, it didn't work. I used to go to work, and then I called the friends. His friends, naambia fulani, ako kwa nyumba. So, we, enda home. So that, because it reached a point, when he's seated, unaona, he's thinking a lot. And then you're wondering, huyu ndio nitamwacha hapa kwa nyumba peke yake, mimi niende job. And then we had insurance ya watoto, and then he went ahead akakata another insurance, akaniambia nimelipa insurance ya 6 months. Nikamuuliza kwa nini umelipa? Akaniambia it's good we have 2 insurances. Ya watoto si vibaya. So what I used to do, the remedy, I used to call his friends. Kila siku there have to come someone hapa kwa nyumba akae na yeye. At least amuongeleshe, watoke watembee tu kidogo instead of just sitting, because when you're sick and you're alone, you tend to think a lot. Those are some of the things I used to do. And during that period after Christmas, that's the time I started convincing him, let's just try the last time. We try the last time. Go back to the hospital, uende, because now at that point he's losing weight. We've even changed the wardrobe. We changed the clothes.
I was buying clothes after 2 weeks.
Manguo.
After 2 weeks, nanunua nguo because I didn't know last week. I wasn't
sasa. And then he's losing weight. Anakula si ati akuli. You're not understanding what is happening. So I told him, I convinced him, after Christmas, we go back. He goes back to the hospital. At least we tried the last time. Tusemange tu tulijaribu. That is what I did.
Yeah, so I got a lot of pressure. Ikabidi sasa niende hosi. So when I went to the hospital, the same hospital that I used to go. And I went to the doctor. The doctor realized I'm disturbed.
Daktari alikuwa kuona before?
It's a new doctor. That was a new doctor.
But it's in the same hospital.
But in the same hospital. So, in fact, I remember when I went to the tranche, I told the nurse, please give me the best doctor, the one that you know is the best within your doctors. I want to see that doctor. So the nurse asked me, what is the problem? I've been coming here for quite a while. I don't know what is the problem. So please nipe the doctor you think is the best. So she sent me to a doctor called Amina. A lady called Amina. And I was told the other day that she died because of COVID. So may her soul rest in peace. So I went to see the doctor Amina. So when I went in, the doctor realized I'm disturbed. And she told me, hi Allan, how are you? I told her I'm not okay. So okay, fine, have a seat. I sat. Then she asked me, what is the problem? So my first statement was, I've come here long enough, so many times. Nobody has given me the reason why I'm sick or what I'm healing from. So, and this is the last time I'm coming to the hospital. That's what I told the doctor. So she just woke up, akafunga mlango. Akanambia, I have the whole day with you here. Tell me what you're feeling. I'm not seeing anyone else until I identify your problem. So she checked, she asked me to what I'm feeling. I explained, how many times have you come to the hospital? I explained. Of course, she has a system. So she logged in the system, she checked, how many times have I come to the hospital? And she told me, I've seen you've done quite a number of tests, which mostly, so I don't want us to repeat these tests that you've done. But let's try one more time. Do your hand like this. So I did my hands like this. So she took a paper from the printer and she placed it on top of my hands. So I didn't know what she was checking. So later is when I realized what she was checking. So she was checking my tremors, whether I'm whether I have tremors. So she looked at that paper, she stared at the paper, then she removed it, said, I think I know what is the problem. But let's confirm with the lab test. So she sent me to the lab, and she told me, if this one comes negative, I also don't know what is the problem. But if then, let's pray that it will come positive, so that at least we know. So I asked her, so what are you checking? She told me, I want to check your thyroid profile. So I asked her, what is a thyroid? What is thyroid profile? She told me, okay, well, I will explain after we get the results. So just first go and get your test done. So I went to the lab, did my sample, and I was told after 2 hours, the results will be out. Now, of course, because of the fatigue, I went back to the parking, nikafungua gari, nikaingia na nikateremsha vioo kidogo na nikalala. Kioko, nililala from saa 4 mchana asubuhi mpaka saa 12. Saa hiyo nimetafutwa.
It was sometimes between saa 11 na saa 12.
Between saa 11 to saa 12. Nilitafutwa. Nilipigiwa simu na everybody. Hospitali ikanitafuta. Hospitali ikapigia mpaka next of kin. Because sasa wamenipigia simu, sichukui, nimepigiwa simu na wife, sishiki, amepigia ndugu. Yani, because I'm sleeping now. Na sisikii. So when I woke up, finally, I woke up at around between 6:30 to between 5:30 to 6. I woke up. Then, of course, when you wake up, you're in another world. So where am I? I'm in a car. I'm in the hospital. So I woke up. Nikakumbuka, I was at XYZ hospital. So I went back to the hospital and asked them, are my results out? So the nurse asked me, what's your name? I told her my name. She said, we've looked for you everywhere. Ulienda wapi? Akaniambia, results zako zilitoka kitambo and you have been looking for you. Now the doctor was around, alikuwa amesema haendi mpaka akuone. Sasa I'm not sure whether bado wako ama ameenda. Let me check. So she went checked. The doctor was there waiting for me. Shift yake iliisha 3. But she decided I'm not leaving until aliwaambia nyinyi mtafuteni mahali mtafutoa. Sitoki mpaka akuje. So I found the doctor waiting for me. So when she saw me, akaniambia karibu, nikaketi, akaniambia finally we know what is the problem.
Ukasikia ni kama umepona.
Nilisikia kama nimepona. Yani nilisikia ni kama I felt like I relieved because at least finally I know what is the problem. Aja niambia ni nini, I don't know what is it, but at least there is something. So I didn't care whether it was cancer, whether it was whichever it was, but at least I know what is it. So I felt happy at that point, but the happiness didn't last for long. Until now, I was told what is it. So the doctor told me, now you're suffering from something called hyperthyroidism. So I asked her, what is hyperthyroidism? She told me, now your thyroid is producing more hormones than it's supposed to be producing. And therefore, we need to put you into medication, but you need to see a specialist. Because I'm not a specialist. You need to see a specialist of that condition. So I asked her, and what has caused my thyroid to produce more hormones than it's supposed to produce? She told me there are so many causes, but the most common, and from the look of from the levels that you're having, it's you're suffering from hyperthyroidism, which is called a grave disease. So I asked her, grave disease and kaburi, as in kaburi. So me, yes, kaburi, grave disease. So does that mean I will die? She laughed and she told me, you will not die, but see, all of us will die at the end of the day at one point, but you will not die. We will treat you, don't worry. So of course at that point I got confused now again. I didn't know, what is this grave disease? What is this hyperthyroidism? What is it? So when I left, I went to the lab, went to the chemist, pharmacy, took the medication. I booked an appointment to see the specialist. I went back to the vehicle. Now I'm confused. I don't know where to start, what to do. Well, I know now I have a disease, but now I don't know what is it. I don't know what causes it. I've been told grave disease. So when someone tells you grave, of course, you get panicked. You get panicked. You get scared. So I call. The first person to call was her, of course. So I called her. Columbia, now my results are out. Na nimeambiwa niko na grave disease. So she asked me, grave disease? So yes, grave disease. So akakata simu. So alipokata simu, so I don't know now why she'll explain. Alikata simu, so she hung up.
No, he calls me and I was in the office. Actually, it was in the evening. He called me and told me, Pinto, I'm suffering from hyperthyroidism. Nikamuliza, what is hyperthyroidism? Akaniambia, nimeambiwa, it's an autoimmune deficiency, in affect the thyroid gland. And then, nikamuliza what causes it. Akaniambia, it's a condition that causes Graves' disease. At that point, okay, I felt good, but a lot of emotion came with those news. Sasa because sasa najiuliza sasa hii ni nini? Why God? Why him? Then I sat down and I was seated somewhere in a meeting room, nikaanza kulia. And then my colleague came, akanipata hapa, akaniuliza what's the problem? Nikamwambia my hubby is not feeling well because I had seen him. His health started deteriorating year 2020. And I knew the journey we've gone, na yeye at the point yenye ako saa hizi is so weak, is so prone to so many diseases, and now that tumeambiwa ni hyperthyroidism, hata sijui ni nini. I just googled, nikaangalia, nikaona the symptoms and everything. Then my colleague akaniambia let's pray, tukaomba, and then nikajituliza, and then I went to my office, then nikampigia simu, we talked, and then akaniambia I've been given medicine, but now we have to see a specialist mwenye anaitwa an endocrinologist. And you see that time during festive season, hata hatukuwa tumevuka the new year 2022, that is. It was
2020.
It was 2020 in December.
COVID came in 2020. Yes. So it was 2020, early 2020.
Yeah.
2019 December to early 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
So akaniambia no specialist atakuja maybe end of January ama Feb, we'll book for an appointment. To me, it was a relief, though now it's another journey. You don't know what the sickness entails and everything. But from there now, after kupewa hizo dawa alipewa, now we had to book an appointment to see a specialist, which we got the appointment with the specialist in the same hospital. And then now our journey started from there now for the treatment.
Now, of course, I went now to see the specialist. That was in February, now 2020. The specialist, now we ran other tests. Akani changea drugs. I was adding some. The dosage was now increased, because she told me my hormones levels were too high. So the dosage was increased. Now, the treatment now then started. Actually,
he had first to explain, it's a she actually. She explains to us, the first thing she did, hata tulipoingia, she locked the door, na akaketi chini, akachukua plain paper, akaanza kutuonyesha how thyroid gland is it's very important in human body. And if it's not functioning, unaweza shikwa na so many other diseases zenye comes along with thyroid not functioning. Akatuchorea how thyroid communicates to the pituitary gland in the brain, and then pituitary sends signals in the blood. That is why him was hyper. So when he's seated, inatuma signals to pituitary that anakimbia.
Inaambia the system pump more blood.
That is why the palpitations, the heart rate. So akatuchorea, and then he gave us a treatment plan. He told us there are 3 options of treatment. One was medical, the other one was
one was medicine.
Yeah,
the other one was surgery. The other one was radioactive.
Yes. But now the medicine, they are for a limited time. You can't take them more than 18 months. So
I took the option of the medicine because I thought it's a surgery, so anything can happen. Then the radio, the doctor told me because of my age, the radio is not it's not advisable because it could affect kuchoma thyroid. So, and it's very difficult kuchoma thyroid peke yake. So unaweza enda kuchoma thyroid ukachoma other organs ziko around it, so commence the whole system. So I took the option of the medicine. But then she told me, well, the option of medicine is okay, but remember, it may not solve the problem because you cannot take the medicine for more than 18 months. The maximum you can do is 18 months. After 18 months, will now start treating your kidneys, your liver, other issues because of the toxic that is now has been brought by the medicine. So I said, okay, fine, let's try the medicine. So I started taking the medicine. But even before I started taking the medicine, and even during that time of taking medicine, the symptoms did not disappear immediately. I used to call her my traditional doctor, because she could go to the market ananunua vitu mamboga zile zingine hata sijai kula, you know, natengenezewa concoction ya vitu hapa, they are not cooked, zimewekwa kwa blender, zimepigwa, unakunywa, but unaambiwa we kunywa tu hiyo, but because you want to be healed, unakunywa tu. So she did a lot of work just to make sure I'm okay, and I appreciate her for that, because si watu wengi. Secondly, thyroid makes you becomes very emotional, you know, and very irritable. So kakitu kadogo tu I would burst, you know. Naweza kuja hiyo siku niko kwa mundi mbaya, you know, unakutana na paka kwa mlango, unapiga teke, unakutana na sufuria hapo, you know, you become chaotic. She went through all that. Alipitia hayo yote. I did not know whether I was sick. She did not know whether I am sick. Okay? So if she was not patient with me, probably would not be seated here. Angesema huyo amekuwa mwenda wazimu na aende.
Actually, you're saying that there are people who've been admitted to mental facilities because of thyroid. You see,
yes.
At that rate, yes, at that rate when unaendelea, imagine now, inafika mahali you start, because if not diagnosed, you unakuwa kama mwendo wazimu.
Because ni hyper.
And then when you have someone who doesn't, the reason why I advocate for awareness is, if you have someone there anabehave hivi na unamwachilia, atakuwa mwendo wazimu. You don't know what you're suffering, your heart rate is very high, uko in an environment where no one understands you. Because when he becomes irate, me, I just used to walk away. Hata sikuwa naongea, I just walk away. I just walk away. Because I know him. You see, the other thing is, at that point, akuja kudiagnose, we've been married for more than 5 years. Ni mtu namjua, he's not lazy. Isi yeye, there has to be something. His behavior imechange. Na si yeye, it's not the same person mwenye nimekutana na yeye. So, you can easily be admitted. And we have cases where patients from the foundation, there are cases of patients who've been admitted to a mental facility because of thyroid, na wajui.
Wanaambiwa ni mwenda wazimu.
Ama huyu.
Na si ati ni mwenda wazimu, ni thyroid yake mgonjwa.
Ama unaambiwa you are taking drugs. Because there's a guy whom we met, macho imegotch out na iko red. Utakataa kuambiwa unakunywa, you are abusing the drugs. Yeah.
In fact, thyroid can cause depression. It can cause bipolar. People with depression, people with bipolar issues are more likely to be related to thyroid illness. Because what happens if your thyroid is not working properly, whether it's producing less or more, then your whole body system is confused, and it can develop to so many other diseases. So like she's saying, kuna mtu wako madhara leo saa hii anaambiwa ni mwenda wazimu, na si mwenda wazimu, ni thyroid yake, you know.
Okay, perfect. Let's get to now. After take madawa, ulitumia dawa for how long?
So I took medicine for 16 months. At the 17 months, the doctor told me, now, from the look of things, looks like your thyroid will not be healed using medicine. So we have to look for another option. You are at 17 months. We can only do up to 18 months. So we have to start looking for a solution from the look of things. So, and she now advised me, we are now left with 2. Radioactive iodine, and we have surgery. And she told me the disadvantages of the radio and the surgery and the advantages. And when I thought, at some point I thought, no, I'm not ready for both. And I told her, give me some time. I think about it. So, Mungu naye ni nani? God works in his ways. So one day, it was on a weekend, on a Sunday. I went just walking around, and I met a neighbor, just neighbor from my gate, the next gate. So he was also coming out and going somewhere. And we met at the gate. And we stopped. Tukaanza kupiga story. Ni mwalimu. He's more age than me. Ni mwalimu. So tukaanza kupiga story. And then tukipiga story nikaona akona scar kwa shingo. Then nikamuuliza, na kwani uliatakiwa na waizi ama what was it? Akaniambia, no, it's 20 years ago I was sick. I was suffering from a disease called hyperthyroidism. I went through a surgery. So that's why you're seeing a scar. So you don't know whether I'm suffering from the same. So when I heard that, I got curious and I wanted to know more. How was the surgery? What is this hyperthyroidism? He explained. And he also mentioned what he went through. The stigma. He told me actually siku moja walikuwa kwa wedding, arusi. Akachukua maji, akakunywa. Msichana wake akamuomba maji, hakunywe. Akampea. Si ni msichana wako, you are the dad. Akampea. So the father-in-law came, akachukua chupa, akatupa. Akamwambia, usishikishe mtoto wangu ukimwi. Usishikishe mjukuu wangu ukimwi. Akachukua chupa, akatupa. So he told me the stigma he went through because of this disease. Hajui yeye ni mgonjwa wapi, ana lose to weight, anaenda tu, you know. So people thought hakona ukimwi. Unaona? So the only person who understood the friend of mine was the wife and the children. Na wazazi wake. Even the father-in-law and the in-laws walikuwa wanamwambia akona ukimwi, unataka kuua msichana wetu bla bla. So you can imagine, unapea msichana wako maji, father-in-law anachukua anatupa, anakwambia usishikishe mjukuu wangu maji, ugonjwa. So he explained, and now I got courage to open up to him and tell him, by the way, I'm also suffering from the same. I have gone through all those things that you're mentioning about, and I'm scheduled for a surgery, but I was not ready for it. But because you're here and you've told me your experience, you've gone through it, why not? I will try. Akaniambia, yeah, go try. Mimi nimefanywa na niko sawa saa hii, sikunywi madawa, I'm okay. So I went, hata sikuenda mahali nilikuwa naenda. Nilirudia tu hapo kwa gate. I went back and came and told her, now nimeamua naenda surgery. She was like,
what has changed?
She was like, what has changed? You had refused. Ni nini imechange? Nikamwambia nimeamua naenda. So nikamwambia story, nimekutana na fulani, amekuwa na the same condition, nimeona, akanambia, okay, fine, you then try. So at first, she was also not convinced whether the surgery was okay. I mean, it's a surgery. So I decided to go for the surgery. So when I went for the next checkup, nikamwambia daktari, no, nimeamua, let's do the surgery. So now I started the counseling and the counseling, and now to be prepared towards the surgery procedure.
After before that preparation, at that point, hakuwa na option. He was taking so many medicines. Na ilikuwa imekataa, hormones zake zilikuwa zimekataa balance kabisa completely. Alikuwa anakula dawa hivi kama chakula.
Nilikuwa nakunywa more than 40 tablets.
Hivi.
In a day?
In a day.
Alipewa mpaka steroids. Ndio ziforce, ndio nini, hormones waziforce zibalance. Because with thyroid, you can't go for that surgery. Ukiingia tu theater without your hormones balance, huwezi toka.
Nilikuwa nakunywa dawa za thyroid, Kabimazo, na kunywa za heart, za palpitations, na kunywa za blood pressure, na kunywa dawa za supplements, na kunywa the steroids. As in, nilikuwa nikiweka dawa kwa mkono hivi, zinajaa. So in a day, nilikuwa nakunywa like 40 tablets. 20 asubuhi, 20 jioni. So nilifika mahali nikakunywa madawa until I also felt like, hizi dawa hapana. It's too much. She used to come and make sure umekunywa dawa. So nilikuwa nakunywa sometimes ndio nimfeel make her feel comfortable, lakini ilifika mahali mimi mwenyewe nikasema, what happens ifanyike, mimi nime give up. But she kept that constant follow up. Umekunywa dawa? Hapana, shika, kunywa. Na anaketi hapo. So you see, I have no option. Na bidi nikunywe tu. So when I went to see the doctor, nikamwambia, now I'm ready for the surgery. Akaniambia, okay, good. I'm happy that you've decided, because it's the only solution. Otherwise, you'll be killed by this thing. It will kill you finally. So try. So I went now for the counseling. Nikaenda kuona surgeon. Thank God I met a very good surgeon, Professor Raja. He's a very good surgeon. And he took me through the counseling very well. He explained that the merits and demerits. And he prepared me very well. Because at some point, nakumbuka, aliniambia there are two things. I'm not telling you the surgery is 100% guaranteed. It's a surgery. You may go in, never come out. So I'm not guaranteeing you success. But there is a good percentage of success rate. We have done many, they have succeeded. But it's a surgery that could go either way. 2, if you don't do the surgery, this disease will kill you. Because that was mekataa.
So it's the only way.
So akaniambia, so the only way is left is we look for solution for this surgery. So you either die trying or you wait for you to die slowly. So I said, akaniuliza, kila siku unavuka barabara? Nikamwambia unavuka barabara. Na si unavukanga unafika the other side. Na ushaiona mtu amevuka akashindwa kufika the other side. Nikamwambia wanagonganga, anasema bas. So ni barabara tunavuka. So assume ni barabara tunavuka. Unaweza vuka ufike the other side ama uvuke ugongwe na gari, mambo yako iishe. So amua, nikamwambia let me die trying. I decided. So at that time, the only person who was supporting the surgery was her. Because now she has no option to support me. Well, she may not be okay with the surgery, but nimekubali naenda surgery. So she has no option to support me. So my mom, my dad, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my brother, nobody was for the surgery.
Hakuna mtu alikuwa anaelewa why
kila
he
mtu
decided the surgery.
ananiuliza, "Where are you sure you won't go for the surgery?" Ambia sasa nitafanya nini? Sisi okay fine, kama umeamua sisi tutakuombea tu. So my father-in-law is a pastor. So he told her, "Nyinyi mkiingia hospitali, mimi mniambie niingie kanisani nikaombe." So he went. That day of surgery came, nikaingia surgery. The procedure was supposed to take 6 hours. It took a whole day.
It was the whole day because
from 9 in the morning.
Alikuwa natoka kitu 6-7.
Yes.
Actually ukiwiliwa it was almost
Hapa Kenya.
Yes, hapa Kenya. So it took longer time. I didn't know what was happening, but of course I was told what was happening. There was a problem. The doctors also panicked, but I thank God that here I am today. I survived. Though it affected my voice became a bit heavy. Even when I was coming from the surgery, I didn't have the voice at all. I was whispering. Whispering. Even today, as we speak right now, I can't shout. If I shout, my voice inapotea. This is the match. I can't shout. So it affected my voice, but at least I came out. So she panicked. Even she went to follow up, and she'll give that part of her story. What
happened? After wheeling, you see, I was told it's a 4-hour surgery. We wheeled him in. Actually, we prayed first. I called my dad tukaomba, alafu akaniambia ameenda, yeye ana fast hiyo siku, anakaa church akimuombea. Until atatoka church the time yenye atatoka surgery. So from the surgery, we wheeled him tukangoja. Tunauliza that panic. Ilipofika kitu saa 10 I went there. Nikamwambia na mniambie ukweli. What has happened? Mbona atoki? Nikaambiwa tuli unaambiwa ngoja. So we had our friends, we had our best couple and a friend of ours who were still with me in the hospital when we were waiting for him to come out. So kitu saa moja ikielekea saa 2, that's the time they wheeled him back. So alipoingia akatupata kwa room, akaingizwa ndani. So me I went out kwa the nurses. So the nurses the first thing waliniuliza anaongea. Nikamwambia yeye anaongea. Mimi nikaona wamefurahi. Actually they were very happy wakati niliwaambia ameongea. Then nikauliza kwani hakuwa aongee? Wakaniambia thank God anaongea. So mimi nikarudi ndani nikaanza kumuongelesha, and then we gave him time to rest. But the surgery was very scary. Even at some point my dad ananipigia anasema hajatoka, daktari anasema niambia hakuna, wameniambia ni ngoje. I just went back and I just slept in that bed. Nikasema sasa Mungu hapo nimekuachia, I only want him to come out alive. That is the only thing I want.
So yeah, so I went for the surgery, nikatoka na now the unlucky part, my hyperthyroidism problem was solved, but now I developed the opposite because the doctors, but I was prepared by the surgeon because they told me we cannot remove your thyroid completely 100%, because if we remove it 100%, then we need to put you into medication for the rest of your life to make sure they do what the thyroid is supposed to be doing, because now you don't have the thyroid. So we will remove part of it. 95%. 90%. 90%, 95 on this side, 95 on this. So you'll be left with 10% of your thyroid. So because it's producing more hormones, the 10% left will now produce hormones enough to maintain you function. Moving. So but that did not happen. So the 10% that was left now started producing less hormones. So now I developed the opposite of hyper. So I'm now hypo. So, well, the hypo is easier to deal with because the symptoms are not as much heavier than the hyper. I'm now on medication for the hypo. I don't know for how long. If it's forever,
God will heal.
God will
that is
heal.
What I believe.
God will heal. At some point, finally it's God who decides. So, and I thought, because of what I have gone through and the experiences, because I did a lot of research about this disease, and so I also realized that so many people die because of diseases related to thyroid, but they don't know. Because when you go to the hospital and you're told that you have high blood pressure, okay, then what? And most people wanaambiwa uko na high blood pressure because uko na stress. So punguza stress. So what is causing stress? What is causing high blood pressure? When your thyroid is not working properly, you get stressed. Number one. Okay, that's why you can get you can become bipolar. Bipolar conditions. It also, because of the palpitations, it increases your blood pressure. Okay, so they start treating you. In fact, yesterday,
even you can be diabetic.
In fact, yesterday I saw a video posted by a Tanzanian doctor. I assumed it was a doctor, and he was saying, he was telling people that when you go to the hospital and you're suffering from a disease, just it's good to ask your doctor to check your thyroid, because most diseases that people are being treated of, they are caused by the thyroid. So instead of you treating your gastritis, kwa tumbo, treat the thyroid, because it's the one that is responsible for that. That means it's. Yesterday someone was telling me that his niece, is it yesterday or Saturday? Painful on Saturday. And I was asking her, what is the problem? Akaambiwa ni low calcium levels. You see, your thyroid produces a hormone called calcitonin. Calcitonin is a hormone that helps your body to absorb calcium. So when you go to the hospital and you're told you have low calcium levels and you're given calcium supplement, you're not solving the problem. What is responsible for producing the calcium, for making your body absorb calcium, is your thyroid. So the problem is not your calcium level. The problem is your thyroid. Treat your thyroid. So I realized that many people are dying because of diseases related to thyroid conditions. And I thought, why not educate people about, create awareness about this whole thyroid thing? And that's how Health Talk Desk was born. So we formed our YouTube channel called Health Talk Desk, where we basically discuss about thyroid conditions. We invite patients, we invite doctors, specialists, we invite caregivers like my wife here, because it's also a challenge it's challenge to deal with someone who is suffering from the disease, because of the symptoms that comes along with the disease. It becomes a challenge when you're dealing with someone with these diseases. Ukiona mtu ni kukasirika, you can imagine I'm from Meru. Alafu uongeze asira ya thyroid. Na mimi ni Meru already, you know?
And then the other problem is, in Kenya we have very few specialists on thyroid. That is why you find it's very hard to be diagnosed, people to know what they are suffering from. That is the reason now we are creating this awareness, so that even someone out there can talk to the government. Your awareness ifikie to our government and our healthcare facilities, so that they can prioritize checking for thyroid. Because when you go to the Western countries, because I'm lucky to have people in Western countries whom we normally chat a lot, our family members. When you go to the hospital, that is the first thing they normally check. And even a new baby akizaliwa, they normally check their thyroid function. What about Kenya? Hakuna. Ukiona actually that was after yeye kujulikana ni after 2 years suffering from something you don't know. It's so draining.
In normal circumstances hapa Kenya, ukienda hospitali, you checked your temperature, blood pressure.
Yes.
Nini ingine?
Wanaangalia your weight, wanaangalia weight, blood pressure, your temperature. Hakuna kitu kingine.
Na wanaangalia the most treatments zenye unaambiangwa, wacha tuangalie kama uko na wacha tuone kama uko na infection, unaangaliwa the blood function. Waone kama ziko sawa, kama kuna any infection. And those are the tests zenye alikuwa anafanywa every time viral infection. Then I ask him, why are you suffering from viral infection so frequently? Now you see, uwezi enda hospitali in a month unakunywa antibiotics twice. They will also reduce your immune level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now the reason why we now thought that we need to create more awareness is because of the challenges I went through. And we realized that so many people are suffering silently. They don't know. I can tell you since I started this campaign about thyroid, creating thyroid awareness, we've gotten more than 10 people who are sick and they don't know, they never knew what was bothering them.
I remember you telling me kuna mtu alikuwa nayo, that time alijua kakua.
Yes. Even as early as yesterday, on Sunday, I met a friend of mine, akaniambia, the friend died. And they didn't know what killed the friend. So nikamuuliza, what was the problem? Then he started giving me stories. Oh, unajua, alianza tu lose weight, macho yake kaanza kutoka, he became like he was going crazy, he became, all what he was describing was thyroid symptoms, the hyperthyroidism symptoms. So it has that. Can I see her photo? His photo. Akanionyesha picha zake. That was a thyroid case. To me, I just said, this is a thyroid case.
And if you're not treated, you just, one day or two, utaanguka.
If you don't treat your thyroid,
a thyroid storm.
Becomes a thyroid storm, where your hormones are now too high, your body cannot control the hyperness anymore. Because heart, imepiga, imechoka. I mean, every organ in your body is tired and they want to rest. When they rest, you also rest. Okay? So that's what happens. We also formed an organization. It's called Thyroid Disease Awareness Foundation Kenya, or TDAC Foundation. TDAC Foundation, and by the way, the foundation is less than 2 years old, but it has more than 1,000 members already. And all these members are caregivers and patients of thyroid. So the foundation, it's free. We don't charge you anything to join the foundation because it's a flat platform where we educate people about thyroid diseases and any other related disease with thyroid conditions. Because diseases like bipolar, diseases like blood infections, diseases like bloating of stomach, what else? Name them. High blood pressure, low blood pressure, Any disease that you want to mention, even for women, for ladies who have irregular menses. And they go to the hospital and they are told that your menses are irregular and therefore you're going to give you some medicine to balance your hormones. Then they are given medicine, it's okay for 2 months, then after 2 months, they back again to the same cycle. Don't treat your hormones, treat your thyroid. Your thyroid is what is happening. It's the one that is causing all this. We have people who get miscarriage, you conceive, after a few months, the baby comes out, and it's a cycle. You keep doing this, Mostly,
that one is common.
Very common. Most of them are thyroid-related issues because your hormones are not balanced.
Here, even for ladies, thyroid can come even because of complications about.
Yes.
Some of the ladies they share stories because we have a WhatsApp group that has more than 1,000 people in that WhatsApp group, and most of them, they are patients and they're caregivers. So now you find someone anakwambia been having frequent miscarriages, and later akakuja ku realize that it's thyroid. And from that point, alipo notice it's thyroid, they went to a journey of getting a gynecologist na thyroid specialists working together na amepata watoto. So it's an awareness that we need to create because it mostly affects women. But now we've seen we've seen so many men coming out because of the awareness. So the Thyroid Disease Foundation has created a lot of awareness. So we shout about it, and then we get friends, we get relatives who are sick, and then through that we get so many members. When we share a story, you have to get a patient. Most of the time, even you post on your WhatsApp status, unapata mtu anakuinbox anaambia kitu imenisumbua sana. And then wale watu watoki sana, they are men. But now we've seen, when they see men sharing their stories, men have started coming out. So it's a way of creating the awareness so that even we can get someone there who can support them, get treatment, and also get treating thyroid. Kuna kitu haja kuambia, treating thyroid is very expensive. Let me tell you. To see a specialist peke yake, kumuona ni 4,000. Ujafanya test, hizo test zote ukienda, if you just do the thyroid function na ufanye consultation, it will cost you, one visit it will not cost you less than 10,000. Na hapo uja kuchukua dawa. And then unajua, because if you're hyper, you're taking the medicines, the hyper, the carbimazole, they damage your liver, kidney. So he was going twice. Alikuwa naenda hospitali mara 2 in a month, because kuangalia hizo levels ndio tuone venye tuta reduce madawa. Acha nikwambie, there is no year yenye hatujui bust medical cover yake na yangu. And we used to boost it. Tunaenda, wakati ina renew, una make sure umeongeza, ukaboostiwa, you get a bigger outpatient, because we wouldn't use the inpatient because haja admitiwa. So you find we spend, there are some times anaenda hospitali anaambiwa, now we need to do your kidney, liver function, tuone venye inaendelea because of the medicines anakunywa. So it's very expensive even for someone kwa hiyo group wengine kupata hata medication. That is why we want to partner with NHIF and some hospitals ndio watupay a subs, because of the numbers, watupay a subsidized price so that we can assist our members there. Right now we only charge 1,000 for subscription. Hiyo kuingia thyroid, but hiyo ni ya kusaidia tu zile hospitals.
The membership card.
The getting the membership card na hizo, you can't buy medicine for all those, and most of them they are asking us, hey, how can you assist us? How can you assist us? Which is very challenging.
Yeah. So what TDAC does, we have talked to a number of hospitals where if you are a member of TDAC and you have a membership card and you go with your card, you just present it to the hospital, you'll get treatment at a discounted rate. And that's why we charge 1,000 shillings to register to be a member of TDAC, but it's for the card production. There's nothing else. Because we have also seen, and the reason why we did this is because people kept asking us, can you help me with 10,000? Can you help me with 1,000? You know, then we thought, because we have a foundation and it's a registered organization, why can't we talk to hospitals and we give our members discounted rates when it comes to treatment? We're also asking, even if the government can come in and support what you're doing, even doctors needs to be told about this disease because it's missed by so many doctors. There's a video we have posted on our YouTube channel of a young boy called Yad. He got the disease when he was in Form 2. If you listen to that story, the struggles he went through, because he was told he's taking drugs, he was told he's rude to teachers. The parents thought he was taking drugs, you know, because he's all over. The eyes are red, they are gouged out, he's trembling, you know, he's very irritable. So he's sleeping in class. So everybody thought this boy is on drugs. Until one day he collapsed. Well, he collapsed, they took him to the hospital.
Na akaya mpaka alienda mpaka HDU.
He went even to
because the blood pressure was very high,
because the blood
mtoto wa 16 years.
Finally, they realized he's suffering from hyperthyroidism. And now he's okay. So you can go and watch that video. It's very educative. And you'll now start realizing when you see someone behaving in a certain way, watu wanasema, kama unasikia mtu anaota ndoto funny, unafikiria it's normal ama spiritual matters. No, it's not. It's not normal. You know, just go and get checked.
And even talking out to the employers out there, you see, when you're exhibiting this kind of symptoms, uko na hyperthyroid, unajua huwezi fanya kazi. You'll be branded lazy. You'll be branded so many things. Nobody will understand you in an office
setup.
Because who will work with you? You are always tired. You're always... And there's another prominent symptom, memory loss. Yaani nilikuwa naweza mwambia kitu akifika pale hata hajui chenye nimemwambia.
Nilikuwa nilisahau mpaka gari town, nikapanda matatu nikaenda nyumbani.
Yeah, you told me that.
You remember that story? Yes. Nilisahau gari kama niko na gari town. Nikapanda matatu nikaenda nyumbani. I used to go to kinyozi with my son. Naenda, ninanyolewa, nimempea simu angalie cartoon, nikimaliza naotoka naenda. Naambiwa, "Hey, umeacha mtoto." You forget, you know? You go to the pin ATM, you want to put your pin, you're like, "Hey, nimesahau." It's a 4 digit, but you can't remember. You know? So you can imagine that happening to someone who is in school.
Who is in our office setup.
Or someone.
Who is,
I worked with a boss who was hyper. Who was hypo. I was hyper and she was hypo. We both didn't know. I didn't know whether she was hyper. And she didn't know whether I was hyper. And we were in one office, just the two of us, one office. Ilikuwa ni kama kambi ya jeshi, my friend. Mpaka colleagues walikuwa wanasema wale wachaneni na wao, hao wanashida kupigana. So colleagues used to say, wachaneni, wanashida kupigana, hao wachaneni na wao.
Sasa ningependa tuachie hapo.
Yes.
Ndio sasa wakuje pale health talk desk.
Yes.
Watch mambo yote, because according to William explain, it's like this disease is killing a lot of people.
It is.
And I think it's high time
we
continue creating the awareness.
Yes.
Because